Right then, hope everyone's having a very Merry Christmas. Manchester United are playing tomorrow against Leicester in a very, very significant and tough match. Leicester now find themselves in essentially another title challenge. Brendan Rodgers had a fantastic run with them up until the very end last season. This season he's doing a similar kind of thing and they find themselves right in the mix. United beat them. We go into second. I don't think I need to emphasise the significance of how important that could be for United. So let's have a look then about what Leicester are going to offer Manchester United as a threat. So, as we know, Brendan Rodgers likes to play the 4-2-3-1 most of all in recent weeks, including for the very impressive 2-0 win at Spurs last time out. Kasper Schmeichel, as always, is their first choice goalkeeper, and he'll start for the 15th straight game this season. The recently returned Timothy Castan is a big boost for Leicester. He'll likely start on the left with James Justin starting on the right. Fofana has impressed massively in England so far, and I think he'll be partnering Johnny Evans for the 11th time this season. Ndidi and Tielemans should make up what is a very high-quality midfield pivot, with the informed James Maddison ahead of them in the number 10 role. And for me, that's where Leicester really make teams pay. It's that midfield trio of those three. That is where their elite status can start to come in, and we'll talk a little bit more about the other elite status that they've got just in a second. Perez or Albrighton are going to start on the right-hand side, with Harvey Barnes pretty much a surefire on the left. Jamie Vardy was taken off as a precaution against Spurs, but I think he's very likely to start as a sole striker, and he is Leicester's main danger man. Now, that midfield three, that's the midfield three that they've got there, does like to control the possession, and that's where all of those dangerous balls for Jamie Vardy to chase like a puppy, that's where they come from. Whenever you play against Leicester, the one man that you have to deal with and look out for is Jamie Vardy. Only Salah, with 13, has scored more goals than Jamie Vardy with 11 in the Premier League this season. And while Vardy has scored more penalties than any other in the league, with 6, he's still an absolute threat. On top of that, since Brendan Rodgers' first game in charge of Leicester, Vardy has scored more Premier League goals than any other player with 43. Only Luis Suarez scored more Premier League goals under Rodgers than Vardy has managed so far. His ability to get in behind the defence is arguably his most dangerous trait. So players not blessed with pace, such as Maguire and Lindelof, definitely have to make sure that they're reading the game perfectly. And this is where United's midfield comes in, because you've got to stop these balls at source. As unlikely as it is, it might also be worth starting either Tuan Zabier or Eric Bailly after their strong performance against Everton midweek to try and counter that pace of Jamie Vardy. Before I go into my United 11, I just wanted to talk to you about SportsBroker. Right then, this video is brought to you by the good folks at SportsBroker. Now, SportsBroker is a platform that allows you to trade virtual shares which rise and fall based on your team's performance. Now, it's more of a long game thing than just betting on individual matches. So you got to look at form, you got to look at trends, you got to look at that sort of stuff. And do you know what? I'm actually really enjoying it. Now, last week we said to you, you need to avoid a couple of teams. And I said, avoid Liverpool. And then they did it pretty well, I reckon. Actually. So they had a significant rise on the back of a fantastic result. We also said avoid Saints and avoid Arsenal. Saints and Arsenal did both drop in value from last week. And we said you want to be going for United, Sheffield United and Newcastle. Mostly because of how undervalued all of those are. Now, United did increase, the other two did not. This week, here's what we're saying. I'm going to say West Brom is one of the teams to try and back. They're playing Liverpool. I know they're playing Liverpool, but they're 61p. You can't lose that much when they're so low priced. And if they nick a draw or if they get a big Sam famous Anfield victory, then what an absolute turnaround that is. So I'm thinking West Brom at 61p is an absolute high value price anyway, because it's such good value for money. I'm thinking Leeds have got Burnley coming up, and I think that because they score goals, they've got half a chance in this game. Burnley don't score goals, and that's what I think is going to bring a bit of an upset there. And I'm saying United. I think the long game on United is very undervalued still, and I don't know if that's a media perception or what, but United's price is for me, it feels artificially low, so I'm going to say let's go United, and we are biased. We make no we pull no punches with that whatsoever. And here's the 3 that we're going to avoid for this week. We're going to avoid Southampton, we're going to avoid Everton, and we're going to avoid Villa. They've got some, rough games, to be fair. Certainly no tap-ins for any of them teams, but I think they're all massively, massively overvalued. So that's what I'm thinking we're going to go back this week, and that's what I'm thinking we're going to go and avoid this week. Now, remember, the share price will go up and down based on performance. What influences is down to 2 main factors: supply and demand of the share within the market, and also the performance of the teams, goals, possession, cards, passing success are a few factors that go into it, and it provides a bit of a holistic representation of the team's quality. So that's why I think there's some undervalue and some overvalue in there. So that's my picks. Like I said, if you fancy it, check it out. The link for that will be in the description below. Right then, my Manchester United 11 to face off against Leicester and hopefully come away with the 3 points, continuing our phenomenal form away from home. Here's what I'm going with then. David De Gea in net, back in, as usual. Back 4, I'm starting to see some sort of regularity with this team now, and I think it's got to be Telles, Lindelof, Maguire and Wan-Bissaka as the back 4. McTominay and Fred are going to sit there as a pair of holding midfielders, and now these 2 are very important in this game. I think you have to worry about James Maddison. I think you have to worry about Tielemans, and you have to worry about Ndidi. That's a midfield 3 as strong as any in the league, and it's the reason why I think Leicester fly so high up in the table. You've got to make it compact. You've got to stop the through balls through to Jamie Vardy. You've got to be able to deal with what they can do, turn it round on them, and attack them. Then I go with a forward 4 of Marcus Rashford on the right-hand side. And Marcus at the moment seems to be playing with a level of confidence which is eerie. And I don't know if the philanthropy side of things that he's doing off the pitch is really helping his own personal confidence within himself, but he steps out onto the pitch and I just think anything is possible from him at the moment. Anthony Martial, if he continues to be as productive as he has been of late, he's going to be in every single starting 11. He's getting involved with goals. Finally, he's getting involved in assists on a regular basis. He's doing pretty well. And I think we've got to go with Cavani up front. Again, the Telles-Cavani threat from set pieces is one that you have to pay heed to. The way that you beat this Leicester side, there's a couple of ways. The first one is you have to make it tight for them in midfield. You deny the space to those creative players that they've got, to that great midfield unit, and you've got half a chance. This is where all of their work comes from. This is where Leicester really start to put it on teams. You've got, obviously, Ndidi, Tielemans, Maddison. I wouldn't be shocked to see United go with a diamond in this. I think a diamond could work, but I also want to maximise the attacking threats that United have got. You could congest it. You could also throw Pogba into this. You could also throw Van der Beek into this and make it a diamond. But I think you limit the potency that United have got. And I think at times you want to make teams worry about United. We've got to go and match the intensity. And for me, that's what McTominay and Fred do better than anybody else in our squad. They bring the intensity. Considering that they were rested midweek, I think that gives you a clear indication that they're going to feature tomorrow. And weirdly, corners is the other one. Now, we mentioned it coming up into the Leeds game. Leeds are poor at set pieces, and we did manage to score off set piece with them. But Leicester have also been struggling with corners all season at both ends of the pitch, and I think it's down to a bit of a lack of height. They are well up there in terms of how many goals that they've conceded from corners this season, and United can definitely exploit that like we did with Leeds last weekend. Rodgers uses a zonal marking system at Leicester, and it just doesn't work for them. No team has conceded more goals from corners than Leicester this season. They are joint with Leeds on 7. So United have to exploit this. This is where United have to get better with scoring directly from corners. Slabhead needs to get his face onto something. You've got to get Telles taking those corners. Telles is an absolute threat in these wide areas. You've got to try and aim for him. Cavani needs to be in there because he comes alive when the ball comes into the box like that. Use the height of McTominay. This is how United can win this game. I think it's going to be a scrappy, low-scoring, tight, almost cup finally kind of feel, because it should be. It's going to be an absolutely massive game, and one that United can come away with 3 points. And if you come away with 3 points in this particular fixture, then I think United can say, do you know what? We're worth a title shout. We are worth a team that's good enough to get this, maybe not win the league, but certainly be up there, finishing second and actually looking like we can put a title charge together. That's my 11. That's what I think you've got to look for against Leicester. This is how I think you can exploit them. And as I said, if you're interested in checking out what SportsBroker is all about, then hit the link in the description and go and check it out. When buying and selling your virtual shares in the leading football team, SportsBroker provides you with live stats to give you the action as they happen in play. You'll also get your own portfolio showing your profit, loss and equity from all of your trades. And if you join SportsBroker now, you get a £100 first trade trial. Make your first trade, and if your team drops in value after that first match, they're going to refund any losses incurred up to a maximum of £100. It's literally risk-free if you want to go and check it out. And you can download it straight away via the SportsBroker app on iOS and Android. The link for that will be in the description, or you can use their website. It is UK only. You must be over 18 to play, and always play responsibly. The link, as I said, will be in the description. Now, enjoy your Christmas day, and let's hope for 3 points in Santa's little sack tomorrow for United.